the WZ-111 5A is a Tier 10 heavy tank Chinese collector. For many of you that have been watching the channel throughout the years, you probably know from a video here or there that this is my favorite Tier 10 heavy and Tier 10 in the game in general, followed by the Progetto 65. Why do I like this tank so much, and why do I pick the weirdest vehicles to like? Well, it's because this tank feels so flexible in a lot of situations. Yeah, I know, the IS-7, it's basically better than this tank after they buff the armor, and when you look at a vehicle like the IS-4 or the M6Yo or the Concept 1B, there are definitely better choices. But I don't always like a tank because it's necessarily better. I like a tank because how it feels to drive and how it fits with my personal playstyle. I'm a very aggressive player, but I also like having gun depression and alpha. And the 5A kind of combines all of those. It's got good gun depression at 7 degrees. It's got big alpha, very good standard penetration. Yeah, we're not going to talk about the terrible premium pen, but the standard pen is very nice. And when it comes to the DPM, it's pretty on par with the other heavies, and it's got fantastic haul-down capabilities. When you add all those together, it makes for a very, very flexible tank. The power-to-weight ratio is very similar to an IS-7 on this tank. However, the terrain resistances are much better. And what that means is you accelerate maybe 20-30% faster up to top speed than an IS-7, and this tank can actually reach its top speed of 50 kilometers per hour, where the IS-7 doesn't usually do that. It surfaces around 35 to 40. So here we go. We are on Dead Rail. Now, this is a pretty tricky game. We're up against a player named Wotb. Now, a lot of you might not know him if you're on other servers, or even on this server, you might not know the player. What I can tell you is Molly is a pretty solid player. Averages around 3,600 damage in Tier 10, with around a 70% win rate, and that's pretty dang impressive. The other two players on the enemy team I need to worry about are in Platoon, the two weak players. Again, if you're not on the NA server, just basically think of weak as like 60%ers. So very, very capable players. Now that 57 heavy on the enemy team tried to do what all 57 heavies do, which is basically drive over a ridgeline, punish you for no reason, and then get away with it. Thankfully, I was a bit angry at that, and I hate when players try to get away with that, so we not only out-traded him for the first shell, bounced the next two, but then drove over the ridge. I didn't even care if I was going to be shot by somebody else. You can say I put the smiley face up at the top. I get really angry when people like that 57 heavy get away with driving over a ridge and just clipping somebody for 1,200. Even if they do bad in the end of the battle, the fact that half of my health would have been taken away for something that I didn't make a mistake on gets me angry sometimes. So that was just a moment where I was like, you know what, screw you, dude. I'm going to get a shell back into you. But either way, we're not doing too bad. We've already blocked 800. We're at 1,000 damage dealt. The problem is that on this side of the map, we've got a 62A. We also have an E50M and a 121B. And there's other vehicles that I think push there as well. As you'll notice, the 100 there is also sort of looking towards Seaside. Now, the problem with that is I don't want to be pushed on from behind. But I also need to deal with the problems in front of me. I can't really help out on Seaside. I'm the only thing that's keeping this part of the map alive. A-side, I'm making sure that nobody pushes through. So the VK72 is down towards A. You'll notice that my 57 heavy was also on the 40%er logic, where he kind of just YOLO'd. So there you go. Nice shot into the VK for 481. We're going to back up. And now we're going to reload again. Reloading. Now, one thing you're going to notice here is the very, very good lower plate of the 5A. If you angle it steep enough, the lower plate on the 5A is actually about 220 thick, like flat ground. And that means that if you get a correct angle, as you'll notice there, that shell ricocheted right off my lower plate, it's actually upwards of like 300 millimeters thick at that angle I was doing there. So we're going to aim at a shell in the lower plate of this VK, and what the heck? Yeah, I'm going to explain what just happened there. So I had a heat shell loaded, but if you've been listening at all to the game or been noticing my my ammo been kind of bugging out, it's because my keyboard had a bit of water spilled on it earlier this morning, and it turns out that my 1 and 2 keys were really bugged. They were just going back and forth. So I wanted to shoot a heat shell at that guy, and the moment I fired, my keyboard just decided to say, screw you, we're going to load in an AEP shell. So that kind of sucks because that took away time that I could have been using to make my way over towards base B and hopefully get a shell into the E100. But either way, we're getting over towards B. I wasn't actually sure who was in B at this moment. I wasn't paying attention. I didn't think the E100 was there, but I was just kind of chilling here. I obviously was hoping the E100 would pull forwards, but I also didn't want to lose 600 health, so I was just kind of chilling. Anyway, that E100 got bled by the grill, so that's perfect for me. I was thinking, do I want to HE the rear of the 62? Nah, we're just going to no-risk it, shoot an AP into the rear. Wanted to help out my teammate over there, but, oh, gee, we bled 1,000 health for that. We were quite healthy, but, yeah, now we're at 1,100, and, oof, an undetected medium. That's not good. Now we're down to 820 health. Like, yeah, sure, we've blocked 2,000 damage, which is pretty good. But, yeah, you definitely don't want to be down to 800 health in a vehicle like the 5A. If I get any part of my vehicle exposed now that isn't the turret hull down, I'm quite easy to penetrate. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to shoot at the C-100. Maybe we can get a nice shell into his vehicle. Obviously, the hull down capabilities of this tank are pretty dang strong. From this situation, what the enemy E-100 is looking at is a pretty hard hit. My cupolas are very well hidden because I'm using my gun depression. So when you use your 7 degrees of gun depression, the cupolas are pretty hidden under the ridgeline. So that's one thing that's absolutely fantastic about this vehicle, is that, like, at this angle here, it's hard to hit that shot. Sure, you can hit it, but the top part where you can see those 3 little rangefinders are actually not hit boxes. It's just the lower part. So the 5A is very hard to actually hit the weak spots on it when it's hull down. And not only that, but if you miss the weak spots, you're going to bounce every time. For example, that HE shell from the enemy 100 did 0 damage. Although we kind of got screwed there because, well, you know, the grill slapped me for 600. So now we're really not doing healthy. That grill, for some reason, didn't shoot me at all earlier when I drove over the ridge. Maybe the grill was over towards base C and just flexed over to shoot me. I have no clue. Is the grill a pretty good player? I don't know. But the grill did a good job. He got a shell into me, which completely stopped me from trying to go for that E100. While this is going on now, I'm trying to think, well, what do I want to do? I'm going to use a little bit of my mobility. Reposition. There we go. E100. Nice HE right into his vehicle again, and there you have it, another shell that does 0 damage to my turret. And what that means is now we're up to 4,000 damage blocked in a 5A. So that's pretty impressive. You'll notice that HE shell went right into my mantlet. So yeah, that's pretty impressive. I'm surprised that we even blocked that much, but it just showcases why this turret is so capable. Even a Ho-Ri shooting premium shells cannot cut through a hull down 5A. So what are we going to do in this exact moment? We've got the 100 still alive. The 50M's off to the other side. And yeah, this battle isn't going great. They've got 2 base caps. We need to push now. So I was thinking I need to clear this E100 like this moment. The E100 Molly was probably thinking I was going to be sitting, looking in front, either waiting for my teammate to flank or something like that. But I wasn't waiting. I knew that base cap was a problem, so I was pushing around, making sure that I didn't drive into that base so he wouldn't know I was there. And beautiful, nice snap right into the E100 side, easy shell. And there you have it. And oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Grill bounces my side, which is actually fairly common in this vehicle. Like, yeah, you don't get that many bounces in the side, but there's a thin strip of armor on the 5A that is incredibly troll to penetrate, kind of like the IS-7. Much smaller than the IS-7's black hole, but still troll enough that you'll actually get a couple bounces here and there. So all we got left is the grill. I'm going to track him here, make sure he can't drive over, and now I'm just going to drive into him, making sure that he can't really do much to me. Unfortunately, he HEs me, which kills him and myself. So I don't really know what to say about that. I mean, I can't complain. We still get a win and a pretty nice game of 4,898 damage. Definitely showcasing where the 5A can be an absolute beast of a vehicle. Now this grill, I should have given him more of the opponent because he did a great job, honestly. Completely supported me with that VK-72. You always need help from another player to win a battle. You can't win when you've got a vehicle like Yag doing 0 damage. So thankfully that grill really supported me and we were able to come out with a win. Now we're going to find ourselves in a battle up against some okay players, nothing crazy, but this is where the 5A really, really feels strong. Now at the beginning of this game, I thought this was a loss. You're going to watch what our bat chat does. And this is for all the people that try to say that I have apparently biased RNG or whatever skilled matchmaking that Wargaming gives us. But yeah, you'll see what our bat chat does. It's going to be pretty impressive. So what do we have on our team? We got a bat chat, which will soon to be not, in the 100, 183, Kranvung, Leopard 1, Object 268, and obviously me in the 5A. The enemy team has actually a pretty good lineup as well. They got an M6 Yo, 57 Heavy, TVP, Bat Chat, E100, and oof, that shell there, bit of a rip. Wanted that to hit, but oh well. But there goes our Bat Chat. Not only does he drive into the rock, but just watch the skabil from that guy. Man, he's doing a good job. I mean, at least it gets me a free shot into that Sheridan, but oh boy, oh mama, you're dead. I don't even know what to say. That guy was the opposite of the French during World War II. That's about the best example I could say there. So at this moment, I wasn't expecting that Sheridan to poke me. I was just aiming off to the side, but I should have. That was my fault, because the Sheridan obviously thwops me right in the side for 532. Sheridans can be very annoying. But, oh well, I'm just going to continue aiming ahead of me. But the Sheridan just stayed poked, so I was like, okay, you're going to do that. Guess I'll get another shell into you. That's 900 hit points we've taken off of his vehicle. And again, we're going to reload. Now, the Sheridan, I really don't think he wants to continue staying there, so there you go. He backs up. Not much of a threat anymore. So again, dealing with what's in front of me. Who do I want to shoot at? Well, we got the E100 pushing up. We obviously know the M6 shows over there, but there's not much I can really do. These guys are staying behind cover, and that's obviously one of the only downsides about sitting in this part of the map, especially when you play Supremacy, is that people don't really go to mid in Supremacy. You either go to base C or you go to base A. There's really no in-between. Thankfully, we are able to get spots out in mid, and since I'm the only vehicle here, I very easily contest almost both sides of the map without any problem whatsoever, and as long as I don't really expose my armor to the enemy, I got some pretty easy shots coming for me. So what are we going to do? Well, I wanted to get that 183 again, and, well, looks like I got pretty lucky, because another nice snap rate into that 183. You'll notice this gun is fairly accurate on the move, which is something the IS-7 really doesn't boast. It's actually great on the accuracy. So here we go. Easy shot into the 57 Heavy. I was trying to think, well, what do I want to do? 57's on my side, Batchat's on my side. Yeah, I'm going to push forwards. I'd much rather push forwards and possibly take a shot from somebody in front of me than to auto-loading vehicles. And you'll never guess what? Ha-ha! I got the last laugh, Sheridan. You are dead. So with that, we're up to 2,200 damage. But we still got some enemy vehicles left. We got the Chatillon, we got the 57 Heavy. I'm going to get a nice tap into the 57 using my 7 degrees of gun depression. There you go. And with that, we're almost up to 3,000 damage already. One more shell, and we will be easily wrecking in those numbers. So now, I'm going to continue pushing up. We know that Batchat was pushing somewhere over towards this spot. So here we go. The Batchat rushes up. And, yeah, this Batchat didn't do great either. We got a nice HE for 587 into its vehicle, which obviously feels pretty good. And then I just drive down the hill because, obviously, the Batchat has 6 degrees of gun depression, and you can't use it unless you get down the hill. And there you go. Easy HE into the side. We got a bounce as well. And now we're up to 4,000 damage. 2 shots brought me from 2,800 to 4,000 damage. That just showcases where HE, where mobility, and everything about the 5A just, I really like this vehicle. So, as I said before, I don't necessarily think that this is the strongest vehicle in the game, and it definitely isn't. You can play an IS-7 and do better in a lot of situations. But for me and my playstyle, I love the 5A. And even if I do better in an IS-7, I just really enjoy playing in this type of playstyle. So we've dealt 4,570 damage. And I was like, back up, yo, back up. Don't let my teammate get the damage. Ha, ha, ha. We got the shell in. There you have it. There you have it. 4,600, 700 damage, something like that. Pretty good game. I can't complain. And these were just 2 battles that showcased what the 5A does well at. 4,800, and there you go, a pretty solid mastery. I really enjoy playing in this vehicle. And the reason why I wanted to make today's video is because this is my 1,000th battle in the 5A. So, yeah, I thought that'd be pretty cool. Today I went pretty well in the vehicle. You can see I played some battles in the Foch. These 2 losses here were really the only losses I had in the 5A. You'll notice, like, all the other games are just win after win after, and we had like 1 or 2 losses here and there. But apart from that, again, just win. We went 80% today in Platoon in the tank with another fellow Mystic member, and over 3,000 average damage. I really like the 5A. Definitely not the best tank, and I wouldn't suggest to buy it when it comes out, but I thought I'd make a video talking about it and why I'm happy. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye!